Hello, Nerd Initiative friends and family, and happy Pride Month. I'm Edalyn, and today I'm here with Shawn while we talk with Luciano. And feel free to introduce yourself. Sorry.
I am Luciano Vecchio. I am a comic book artist. I am from Argentina, and I'm currently the artist on Uncanny X-Men, written by Gail Simone, among other things for Marvel.
Luciano is a writer, an artist. He has his own created art or created comic. Sereno, is that pronounced right? Sereno. Beautiful comic that is available in hardcover now, so you can pick that up. Does a lot of different covers for Marvel. A lot of Pride covers coming out because it is Pride Month. So feel free to check those out. Some beautiful covers featuring Helverine, Gila, Felicia Hardy, Kitty Pryde, all coming out this month. Still a little sad that we're not getting a lot of the version variant covers like we have for some of your similar covers in the past for those. But,
Oh, right.
yeah, so thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. And Ina, I'll let you take it away.
All right. I guess first question I have for you is what's something that, like incentivizes you or like motivates you in your artwork and your writing?
It's basically the lifelong joy for superhero comics. I'm like living my dream, this is what I always wanted to do, and right now I'm at the best moment in my career. Working with Gail is something I didn't. I envisioned it, but I didn't think it was really something that will happen for me. So it's a dream come true, and working with X-Men as a franchise also. Um, so it's I don't know. I love superheroes. I love them at a myth creating level, and I consider myself very lucky to be part of this great narrative that we collectively put together month after month for decades. And yeah, it's very humbling and empowering at the same time.
Good.
Luciano, you've kind of become known in a lot of comic circles for your ability to kind of update some of these characters and make them a little bit more contemporary, especially like with your work on the X-Men and some of the different covers you've done. So when you're looking at trying to kind of give a character a fresh look, is there something that like a checklist that goes through your mind of how you're approaching kind of a new look for some of these characters that are, like you said, month after month of being released?
Right. I don't know. It changes a bit depending on the character or the assignment, but I always like the exercise of doing redesigns or updating costumes. I started doing it as fan art before being able to do it for real assignments. I think that I always try to like take a step back and look at the whole publishing history of a character and try to distinguish what is the core iconography and what is the fashion trend of a specific time, and take that apart and rebuild, combining elements from previous costumes but making it current at the same time, and trying to making it more iconic or specifically I started this exercise trying to give queer characters more A-list visual, sometimes they're relegated to two minor roles, and that reflects visually. So I think from the design you can make a character stand out more, be more cool, or be more deserving of the spotlight. So so that's one of my drives, and it influences all my work when I get to redesign.
And that really shows, especially with your work on like Bobby Drake. Bobby's never necessarily been like a background character, but how many people have grown up reading comics and still didn't realize that Bobby's an omega level mutant because he
Yeah.
didn't
Right.
have that that's it was kind of the same look every time you saw Bobby. So great job on that. I think you're absolutely accomplishing that if that's your goal, because the look that Bobby has got now is pretty clean. Bobby is a clean looking dude right now. So
That's awesome.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah,
What's
he's a tough one because he's so simple at the. I mean, it works. It's a white silhouette, and it works. But at the same time, it can be very generic or get lost in the background. So it was tricky to come up with some way to make him more iconic, but still respectful of the history. So it's just a few elements. Sometimes it's not a big change. It's just a few adjustments, like fine tuning. Like the elements are already there, but you have to make a little fine tuning, and the magic happens.
all about like finding the right balance, you know?
Right.
What's been like your favorite character to modernize so far?
That I have. Sorry, I'm getting your audio. Ida is
Oh,
a
sorry.
little spotty.
Oh,
I
sorry.
didn't get the question.
What's been maybe like your favorite character to modernize so far?
Oh, oh.
Uh,
I don't know. Well, I have I print my weekend cover here.
mm-hmm.
I have it as a poster in my studio. That was a really fun one. I love weekend, and I like this isn't a canon costume because it was just for a cover as an 80s inspired update. Um, but then, yeah, I guess Iceman is the one that makes me the most happy. That whenever I see other artists draw my version of him, it fills me with joy. And also, it happens with Silhouette. I got to update her costume for the Ironheart series, and that became the costume that people go to whenever she appears. And that's a character that doesn't appear a lot, but when she does, I like seeing people's interpretation of mine. Oh, and also Phantasma. This new character that I designed for a cover for a she's a character in the legacy of Ghost Rider, and she became one of the new champions, and that also makes me very proud and happy.
so
I
awesome.
have actually I have Luciano's Doctor Strange
All
cover,
right.
and the
Oh,
heavy metal look that you gave Angelica or Angela, excuse me, that kind of almost like heavy metal Valkyrie look is really awesome. I love that. Luciano, for fans who may only know you really as an artist, they don't know that you've done the writing, or maybe they didn't pick up Iceman Omega or Cetterino. Um, do you approach a comic differently when you're pulling that double duty when you're writing and drawing, or versus like when you're working with Gail and just doing the art? Because I know the writer is going to send you a script and stuff like that, but does your approach to just the art in general change when you're writing it versus when you're working as part of a team?
Yeah, it changes, and it also changes between my creator own work and my writer artist work for Marvel. My creator work is very experimental. Um, in Sereno, I don't have to collaborate with anyone. I did it as a webcomic first, so it was uh, like doing one page a week, and I kind of wrote while I draw the page. Like I didn't work with a script. It was more like automatic writing, drawing, and going with the flow. But for example, on Iceman or Marvel Voices short stories, I have to write down a script, a pitch first, then a script, and work with an editor. And that was a very enriching experience because I never did that before. Um, and it makes the writing better, you know. Then when I work with writers, it changes every time. Sometimes, depending on the writer, you create a synergy. Now I'm really enjoying the process with Gail because as we get to know each other as time passes, I get to be more involved, not with the story itself, but I don't know, the way I give life to the character influences the writing, and it feedbacks on each other, and that's really powerful. I feel like when a writer and an artist are in sync like that, it reflects on the work and the story, and that's a treasure when it happens.
What's it like for you, like getting to work on queer characters in the space? Like, how's it
I
make you
sorry,
feel?
I didn't.
Uh, sorry.
Okay.
Mm, yeah,
How does it make me feel when I work with characters? Was,
yeah.
is that correct?
She was saying, how does it feel to be able to work with queer
Okay.
characters in the comic space?
Uh, there's a fanboy element. Like as a reader, I always wanted to I don't know, give focus to the character. But as a reader, I wish these characters were written and drawn like this, this way, with respect, with big spotlight, with the what they deserve to be heroes, say the word, be an important part of the story. So being able to, as a creator, be on the other side of the that experience, and a lot of time I feel like I'm working for the kid I was, you know, like when I was younger there weren't as many characters, I wasn't that happy or felt very well represented. So my main drive with that is like, uh, if I feel I'm doing a good work for the kid I was, that will reflect in how readers might receive the work. So I try to keep myself honest and driven that way, and I think it works, and it's very fulfilling for me. Some of the short stories I did for the Marvel Voices specials,
Mm.
uh, I don't know. I felt like drawing like the first time that all the Marvel queer characters go to Pride together. It didn't happen before, and I feel like it's small but important, and it makes room for other kind of stories that weren't told before, like more focused on community and um, Pride as a whole and not focus just on individual characters and their individual stories, but as part of a larger community and a social issue. So yeah, I feel that there's always lots and lots of work to do in that aspect, but I'm happy to doing my part.
But
Luciano, I had read some of the other interviews that you have done before, and one of the things that really struck me where you were talking about Sarino, about the character being written to kind of represent the boy that you were. And you've been such an amazing voice, not just for Marvel, but just comics in general for the representation. You've been a great champion for representation in comics, especially in the LGBTQIA plus community. But uh, it's a little bit different when you're doing it like your creator-owned comics. Like you said, you're going from scratch. You can do what you want to do. But when you're dealing with established characters, Marvel, things like that, how do you find that balance between the kind of action packed, high energy superhero world and this kind of grounded, real world resonance of that character's queer identity? Balancing like making them authentic to themselves and true to who they are while still maintaining kind of that superhero element.
Um, I try to find some point of identification with the characters. Um, I don't know. With Iceman, I connect with. I don't know. Being a basic cis gay boy. I didn't came out. I didn't come out as late in life as he did,
Mm-hmm.
but it was in my early 20s, which is it can be late for some compared to some other experiences. I like the fun jokes and that kind of silly humor he does. So I hyper focus on the stuff that I connect with, and I don't know. I I um, I try to inject in the stories a bit of what I see around in the people I know, in my friends, in my community, and I don't know, the drama of love life, the queer friendship, and make it extra and drama and soap opera it, like it's the essence in superhero comics. It's not really hard. There's many points of organic connection between queer identity and superhero narratives, I think.
And I think that's something else that I can say, like having done a joint review with Megan for Iceman Omega, one of the things I think that you write really well for these characters who identify as part of the queer community is you capture not just the romantic aspect, but you do a really great job of capturing queer friendships together. The just platonic people with a shared identity. There's not necessarily any romance there. They're people who connect through a shared identity, and I think that's really powerful.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think we only started to see that in comics recently, like in the last maybe 5 6 years. But before that, we only got to see the romantic element or queer identity as part of a larger group, like one queer character in between many straight cis characters. So yeah, that aspect of friendship, um, it was very inspiring to see it first. I saw it first in the miniseries by Leah Williams in the um, well, what was the name? you know this story where the Iceman, North Star, and Riptor reconnect in a parallel reality created by Ned Grey. Um, and she focused on the friendship as an element of connecting with their identity and breaking the illusion. So that was very inspiring. I felt like we need to see a lot more of this. So that's an influence from then on.
Is that Marjorie Lewis? Maybe,
Hey,
maybe
sorry,
Marjorie Lewis.
I,
It's okay. I yeah,
my memory is failing me. Sorry.
it's okay. There, look, you're talking about.
Yeah.
We're getting the 65th anniversary of Fantastic Four this year. You've got so much to choose from historically. We're not going to
It
fault
was
you
Leah
for not
Williams.
knowing
It
the
was Leah.
exact same one you're talking about.
Sorry, I got distracted trying to get the name right. It was Leah Williams. So tracking back.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were?
Was there any sort of like deeper messages that you hope people get from your artwork and your writing?
I don't know if as a message in general. I feel like I mean that there are many answers. I like to um, when we get to see ourselves in stories, especially superhero stories, and we don't feel left out, we share that feel of imagination of um, powering through the difficulties in life. I think that's something we deserve as anyone, and that it was actively denied of us for most of the 20th century through the censorship and comic authority and that kind of things. So I feel like the basic messages we deserve to exist in powerful and meaningful ways, and all kind of stories can deliver that message. And some are more about there can be stories about fighting back. There can be stories about feelings and emotion, or I don't know, big and small. I think that it's important to keep in mind that not every queer representation story can contain all the messages or represent the whole community. And that's why we need an abundance of queer stories from many different creators and with many different goals, because there are many stories, and
Yeah,
we have to be able to tell them. Um, so yeah, and the more the merrier.
yeah, because it's like as queer people, we don't all have the same experience. you know, like me,
Right.
trans woman, so it's like my experience might be like a bit different from somebody else's, and it's important that all of those stories are told.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
also, you know, many times I think we tell the stories for ourselves,
yeah,
for ourselves, for myself as a reader I was in the past, and for self between the community, but also for society in general, because something I a feedback I got that it was very meaningful for me, and it didn't happen that many times, but the ones that happened, it was very meaningful. Is when a cis-straight parent of a queer child will approach and say this kind of content, this type kind of stories help me. I don't know, be a more loving parent or more understanding, or live this experience more fully. And I think that's the most important effect we can aspire to. That informing or creating a sensibility to everyone and beyond just our community. Um, that's a goal. I don't know if I have accomplished it in general, but that's a goal, or an aspiration.
See, parents, if you have a kid that is part of the queer community and you're not sure how to connect, don't run to the internet. Go to your local comic store. There's lots of
Right.
opportunities for you to go
Exactly.
to your comic store, pick up some of these great characters, and do exactly like Luciano has said. Some parents tell him, learn how to better
Yeah.
connect with your kid. Especially when you've got people like Luciano who are part of the community who are actively writing and telling these stories. It's very different than someone, like me, a straight cis white male writing the story. It's a different experience. I don't have those lived experiences, so no matter how good a writer I am, it's not going to come through the same way. But Luciano, I got one final question for you, and this one's kind of a funny one. So going to take you back in a little bit of a time machine. So you did the Pride variant for Marauders 4, which was Bobby, and you kind of tongue in cheek wrote back on your Tumblr, you said, I want the ice scruff to be my legacy, because you had given Bobby a little bit of the ice scruff.
Yeah.
Now, then when we go to, and hopefully when I go to edit all this, I can get it put up here so everyone can see if they haven't seen it. But in Iceman Omega, you get a chance to basically give Bobby the most majestic beard anyone not Thor has ever had in comics when he gets a hold of Loki's crown. So is the scruff still the mountaintop now that you've been able to draw that big giant kind of Nordic majestic beard on Bobby?
Yeah, it was part of the same, because that Marauders cover I did while I was Iceman Omega came out first as a webcomic,
Mm-hmm.
so it was contemporary to that cover. If you look at Bobby's history, there are many times that he has that 3 days shade. But also there is the Ice Master persona that we see as a time traveler from the future. He appeared in the Bendis era, and again in the Sina Gray's solo Iceman book. So that future version of Iceman is called Ice Master, and he's more like a wise wizard with a robe and a long beard. So I wanted in this story to show the first hint, or the seed of that evolution or persona in the future, when he becomes Ice Master, empowered by Loki. And yeah, he has this full bear. Yeah, I like bears. I think more characters should have full bears. And whenever I get the chance, I will do it.
Me and Luciano are on the same wavelength. More characters should have beards. Absolutely. Luciano, as well as, like you said, it's a kind of the first seeds of the Ice Master we get in the future. But proof that even Bobby Drake Iceman looks majestic with a beard. We got Fantastic Four of the movie this last year that proves Ben Grimm looks majestic with a beard. Who doesn't look better in Marvel with a beard? So
Yeah, and Mr. Fantastic as well
oh,
in
you're
the
right,
right
yeah, Mr.
game.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And then, but Ryan North, if Ryan North, if you happen to stumble across this, please get rid of Johnny's mustache, please.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. That's
I,
too.
Luciano, I jokingly, I went on Blue Sky and I asked Ryan, and I said, "Hey, if I did crowdfunding, how much money do I have to raise for you and Umberto to take Johnny's handlebar mustache off?" And he said, "Whatever the amount, if we take it off his face, it disappears off his head too, and it just leaves a mustache shaped blank spot on his head." And I said, "Never mind, never mind. I'll stick with the handlebar biker mustache." So.
That's funny. Yeah, I got to draw Shawnee with the mustache in a few covers.
Mm-hmm.
For example, in the Fantastic Four versus Gargoyles one, I did him with the mustache first, but I was asked to take it off to make it more like evergreen.
Mm-hmm.
And not so fixed in a specific point of time. But it's a fun look anyway.
Mm-hmm. Ida, do you have anything else for us?
I got nothing. All right.
Right.
Well,
All right.
thank
Well,
you.
Luciano, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you so
thank
much
you.
for having me.
And
And
then
where can
we
everyone
will.
follow you? Oh, I'm sorry.
Um, I'm on Instagram as Luciano Vecchio Art, and X and Blue Sky as Luciano Vecchio all together. And that's it. So that's where I am.
And if you're looking for Luciano, we'll make sure all of his handles are in the comments under this so that you
Oh,
can check him out. He posts beautiful art on Insta all the time. You will probably find me in the comments every so often. Just wondering when we can get some of these turned into prints. But Luciano, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for all that you do
th-
for just representation for the community in comics and I know you said you're living your dream, but we're all getting to enjoy your dream too, man. Because this is awesome. Like you're doing great covers, you're doing great work. I see Gail singing your praises all the time on social media, working on X-Men with you. So thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us.
thank
Thank you
you.
so much for having me.